What up, family, friends, and fans? It is C-Man. How long has it been, right? I know. I've had a crazy amount of people that have tried to get in contact with me and love me. Not really. But there have been a lot of people with a lot of questions, and it has been some time. Let me tell you something. Second year of residency was pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. For those of you who don't know or are new to my channel, I am an ENT surgeon or otolaryngology surgeon. I'm my third year of my third year residency, and it's freaking cool. For those of you who don't know, ENT is awesome. For those of you who do know, duh. So anyway, let's get to it. There have been some people who've wondered where the hell I've been. I've been on sabbatical. Residency. Taking call. Getting verbally abused. No, not really. I'm not really that abused, but taking call for sure. And working a lot of hours. Although no hour violations. It's illegal. Stay away from that. Children, families, don't violate your hours, but whatever. Anyway, ACGME will be all over that schnaz. So, what I'd like to do on this video is two things. Number one, hopefully I can post some future ideas I have, a few of which are going to be what it's like in residency as an ear, nose, and throat surgeon, obviously. Number two, what it's like to take step 3. That's just another one. Most people don't care about that, but it's kind of good to have a few pointers, I think. Number 3, research during it. Number 4, fellowships. And then this particular video I'd like to address what people have been talking to me about and wanting to know, and addressing some of those questions. So, for those of you who don't know, I've linked my YouTube to my Facebook, so you can contact me through that or whatever. For those of you who are already my Facebook friends, yay! But anyway, all right. So a few of the questions I had, some of the people that asked me. Number one was from a Facebook user. And they said, how do you find time to do research in medical school? And that's a good question. I did it through contacting some people. Really, you have much more time in medical school than you do residency. Particularly, you have more time in your first to second years. Most medical schools have a time period between certain years, like a summer break, basically. Some medical schools don't do this anymore, but some have the summer break, and that's the most ideal time. I did that. I got a research grant through one of the school opportunities, and I got paid to do research. Freaking awesome. And it was good. It was good for my curriculum vitae, or resume as people call it. It was a really good experience. But anyway, you can find time. The point is if you wait till residency, oftentimes that can hurt your applications for residency. So if you don't think you have time, really try to find a time you can do it. I really encourage it. That's why I talked about it in most of my videos. It's very important to a lot of residencies, especially when you get into really competitive residencies like otolaryngology. For sure. I mean, my chairman has probably said it to every medical school, a student that's gone in there to meet with him. So anyway, just keep that in mind. On the weekends was one of the things they mentioned. You can do it on weekends, but really if you plan your time well, like I really feel like that was one of my strengths in medical school and in residency as time management. You can do whatever, you can really find time for stuff you need to find time for. So that also led me to another question. Someone asked me or told me I should basically become or talked about my trek into medical school. So what happened was I applied to several medical schools. I was unique in that aspect. A lot of people in my my pre-med classes did not do that. They applied to like 1 or 2 local. I was of the opinion that I can adapt to any environment, and I wanted to try other places and find a place I belonged, as well as increase my chances of getting in. Because if you don't know, it's not exactly easy to make it into medical school, especially if you're doing more the MD route. It's much harder to make it in. So I applied to both DO and MD schools. I wanted to weigh and see, for myself what each one offered. I made the decision later I wanted to go to an MD school, mainly because of my drive to get into a more competitive specialty and having more opportunities that went along with that. Thankfully, I did make that choice in the end. I applied to Virginia, no, I'm sorry, Virginia, University of Oklahoma, Johns Hopkins. I can't remember another one. I don't remember the other one. And then DO schools, I applied to Arizona and Kansas City University of Medicine and Biosciences. I got interviews at 3 places: University of Oklahoma and the 2 DO schools, Arizona and Kansas. I interviewed at all 3. I really, really liked University of Oklahoma, but I got put on the wait list. It turns out that that was pretty common because they only accepted less than 5% of my class was out of state. And I was very fortunate to pay in-state tuition as well, and that was kind of a very helpful thing that the medical school did for me. So, but anyway, so that was kind of my trek. I interviewed at Kansas. That was my second favorite, and then Arizona was the one I put third in my mind. Both of those accepted me right off after my interview, and so that's kind of how my medical school prelim went. I can do a video if people are interested on my inspiration and thought process of applying to medical school in the first place, and some of the shenanigans that I basically almost didn't do it, almost didn't make it. So yeah, and I can go through that, like back to my college experiences for an old guy like me. But yeah, anyway, so the other thing, people ask me about my tying knot video. You know, what can I do? How do I prepare for that? How do I deal with that? How do I deal with those types of like fine motor skills? Really, if you borrow instruments from the OR, if you ask them, or a lot of the times emergency rooms and things have kits with like a needle driver and pickups and things like that. You can practice at home. People ask, well, what can I practice on? Pig's feet is what a lot of the places use to practice sutures. You can find leftover suture. You can ask the OR. They'll supply them. No problem. The other thing that you can practice is not tying. Getting real suture with gloves on. Gloves! But anyway, put the gloves on because it's so different. You have no clue. It's very different when you tie with latex surgical gloves compared to not doing it with bare hands. The tactile is different. The grip is different. Everything is different. So just make sure to do that. And make sure to practice. I'm telling you right now, you don't believe me, but you will look dumb to some people if you show up your 4th year medical school, you're trying to impress the the residency program you're trying to be a part of, or whatever residency you've applied to, and you can't tie. You can only tie one-handed, and they say the surgeon, my chairman, a perfect example, only prefers 2-hand ties. And if I didn't know how to do that, I would. I'm not applying here anymore. I'm already in. But my point is, they notice that stuff. They do, and it's something small. But guess what? When you're in a really competitive specialty like otolaryngology or something like that, it's the small stuff. It's the small stuff that sets you apart from the other guy or the other girl. It's true. That's how it is. I wish it were different, but it's not. That's how it is, kids. And we've talked about it. It's pretty brutal, especially this year. I mean, the poor interns. It was so competitive. Anyway, and it's just like that. So you just got to get that in your head. By the way, someone asked, Serena Stoker asked, what was the science in medical school like, and the science in high school? The science in medical school is mainly focused toward building a foundation of this is normal health science, so physiology, and then expanding on that. This is the pathophysiology, so how the normal health goes wrong, and then expanding on that, how do I manage it? How do I bring it back into that equilibrium? So that's something that can definitely happen. So I had a couple of people ask if I could, shadow me, apply for the, certain things. I honestly don't mind shadowing and things like that. I can do those types of things. It's just hard, when you come here. I have a family, so I can't really give you a place to stay or anything like that. Plus, understand that there's weirdos out there. Most of my subscribers aren't weird, but there's weirdos out there, and I just want people to know that, you know, I can't just go willy-nilly offering you a place to stay or anything like that. I don't mind, like, you know, answering questions, doing online things like that, or even if you apply through my residency program, we'd be happy to have you most likely. So I'd also give a shout out to MZ Diva 2000. She is been an awesome subscriber and so complimentary of everything I've done, and I'm really proud of you for everything you've updated me with. It's fantastic. Okay. I had one guy, Mophead, ask if I kept the fan on because it's 95 degrees in my apartment. That was my Oklahoma apartment, and it was very hot there. That's why I had my sweet bulging muscles coming out of my skin that you wanted to lust after. Anyway, but and then someone asked, the Ashian Irfan asked me, I'm sorry if I butcher your name, by the way. I'm a white boy, and I suck at pronouncing names. No, I hope I didn't butcher your name. I really do. People butcher my name. Whatever. Anyway, so he asked, should I concentrate more on the theory part or the practical part in my third year? I'm not sure how to answer that. Third year is mainly, you basically want to grasp basic disease processes and their management in each specialty you're involved with. Okay, so you know, for things like general surgery, you should understand bowel obstructions, ileus, cholecystitis, appendicitis, liver issues, you know, like hepatic carcinoma or cirrhosis, those types of things. You should grasp that and understand how to manage it and the different things that are involved with it. OBGYN, you should understand things like, you know, the growth cycle, you know, what the stages of labor are, the complications of you know, postpartum, you know, preeclampsia and eclampsia, those types of things. You should grasp these things and understand it. So that's what you should concentrate on. It's practical, and there's theoretical stuff too. The management is often theoretical in the fact that it doesn't work for everybody, but it's evidence-based usually, so you should understand what that means and understand how to read studies and why we do certain things. Anyway, you really have to defend it well too. Like in surgery, we had to do oral boards, and that's a pretty common practice across the United States. You have to present oral boards where the attending physician brings you into the office, just like they would for like the legitimate general surgery oral boards, or our oral boards. Otolaryngology does them too. They bring you into their office and they just say, hey, you know, there's a 57-year-old patient who has this, this, and this, and what's your differential? How are you going to look for it? What questions are you going to ask? What are you looking for in the physical? What type of management options do you have? You know, those types of things. Now, they probably won't be as in-depth third-year medical school, but that's eventually what it will build up to. And that's the way, you know, you have to be thinking as you move into residency, because that's expected. Anyway, so I hope all of you enjoyed this. I've enjoyed talking to you again. I miss you all. I hopefully will be able to post those videos. You know, I'm not going to be doing it like once every 2 days here, but I'm going to try to really encourage you guys and go through this stuff. Again, I had some people who were like, oh yeah, you know, this guy, you know, he just posts and leaves. Yeah, I posted because I really felt it'd be helpful, and I'm glad it's helped some people. Even if I've helped 2 people in my life, I'm happy about it, because I want you all to know that this is a process you can do if you have what it takes, if you have the drive, if you have the desire, and if you have, quite frankly, you need intelligence too, but if you have the commitment. And I want people to know that this is a viable option, and that there shouldn't be any secrets. You know, I want to be here, just like people were here for me, and I want you to feel encouraged and to do it. Okay? So, peace out, family, friends, fans. It's been C-Man. It's been real. It's been real dang nice. Okay. Love you.